The 9K-38 Igla is a Russian, Soviet man-portable infrared homing surface-to-air missile. 9K-38 is the Russian GRAU designation of the system, its US DoD designation is SA-18 and its NATO reporting name is Grouse. A simplified, earlier version is known as the 9K-310 Igla-1, or SA-16 Gimlet. The latest variant is the 9K-338 Igla-S, with NATO reporting name SA-24 Grinch. It has been fielded by the Russian Army since 2004. There is also a two-barrel 9K-38 missile launcher called Gigat. History. The development of the Igla short-range man-portable air defense system began in the column the OKB in 1972. Contrary to what is commonly reported, the Igla is not an improved version of the earlier Strela family, but an all-new project. The main goals were to create a missile with better resistance to countermeasures and wider engagement envelope than the earlier Strela series MANPADS systems. Technical difficulties in the development quickly made it obvious that the development would take far longer than anticipated, however, and in 1978 the program split in two, while the development of the full capability Igla would continue. A simplified version with a simpler IRC based on that of the earlier STRELA-3 would be developed to enter service earlier than the full capability version could be finished. The 9K-310 Igla-1 system and its 9M313 missile were accepted into service in the Soviet Army on the 11th of March 1981. The main differences from the STRELA-3 included an optional identification friend IFO system to prevent firing on friendly aircraft, an automatic lead and super elevation to simplify shooting and reduce minimum firing range, a slightly larger rocket, reduced drag and better guidance system, extend maximum range and improve performance against fast and maneuverable targets, an improved lethality on target achieved by a combination of delayed impact fusing, terminal maneuver to hit the fuselage rather than jet nozzle, an additional charge to set off the remaining rocket fuel on impact, an improved resistance to infrared countermeasures, and slightly improved seeker sensitivity. The seeker has two detectors, a cooled MWIR-INSB detector for detection of the target and uncooled lead to sulfide SWIR detector for detection of IR decoys. The built-in logic determines whether the detected object is a target or a decoy. The latest version is reported to have additional detectors around the main seeker to provide further resistance against pulsed IRCM devices, commonly used on helicopters. The 9M313 missile features an aero spike mounted on a tripod, which reduces a shock wave, thus providing less dome heating and greater range. The name Igla is derived from these devices. Like many other MANPADS, Igla-1 and Igla feature so-called rolling airframe missiles. These missiles roll in flight, so steering the missile requires just a single pair of control surfaces, unlike roll-stabilized missiles, which require separate control surfaces for pitch and yaw. Both 9M313 and 9M39 missiles contain a gas generator, which drives a small gas turbine to provide electrical power, and the pistons, which move the canards used to steer the missile in a bang-bang mode. In addition to that, two exhaust tubes of the gas generator are placed perpendicular to the steering canards to provide maneuverability immediately after launch when the missile airspeed is too low for canards to be effective. Later versions of Igla are reported to use proportional torsional control to drive the cannons, which enables greater precision and less oscillation of the flight path. According to the manufacturer, South African tests have shown the Igla-S superiority over the contemporary but smaller and lighter American FIM-92A Stinger missile. However, other tests in Croatia did not support any clear superiority, but effectively equal seeker performance and only marginally shorter time of flight and longer range for the Igla. According to column OKB, the Igla-1 has a PK of 0.30 to 0.48 against unprotected targets, which is reduced to 0.24 in the presence of decoy flares and jamming. In another report, the manufacturer claimed a PK of 0.59 against an approaching and 0.44 against receding F-4 Phantom II fighter not employing infrared countermeasures or evasive maneuvers. Igla. The full capability 9K38 Igla with its 9M39 missile was finally accepted into service in the Soviet Army in 1983. The main improvements over the Igla-1 included much improved resistance against flares and jamming, a more sensitive seeker, expanding forward hemisphere engagement capability to include straight approaching fighters under favorable circumstances, a slightly longer range, a higher impulse, shorter burning rocket with higher peak velocity. The naval variant of 9K38 Igla has the NATO reporting name SA-16 Grouse. The Igla-1 air missile consists of a ground power supply source, launching tube, launching mechanism and AMP missile replacement. The Igla is being replaced in Russian service by the 9K333 Verba MANPADS. The Verba's primary feature is its multispectral optical seeker, using 3 sensors as opposed to the Igla-S 2. Cross-checking sensors against one another better discriminates between relevant targets and decoys, and decreases the chance of disruption from countermeasures, including lasers that attempt to blind missiles. Operational history. Iraq. The first combat use of the Igla-1E was during the Gulf War. On January 17, 1991, a Panavia Tornado bomber of the British Royal Air Force was shot down by an Iraqi MANPADS that may have been an Igla-1E after an unsuccessful bombing mission. In addition, an Igla-1E shot down an American F-16 on the 27th of February 1991. It is uncertain if an AC-130H Lost was hit by a Strela missile or a more recent Igla. The pilot was captured. Rwanda. Private intelligence company Stratfor asserts that Igla-1E missiles were used in the 1994 shoot-down of a Rwandan government flight, killing the presidents of Rwanda and Burundi and sparking the Rwandan genocide. Senapor War. During the Senapor War between Ecuador and Peru, both the Ecuadorian army and the Peruvian army utilized Igla-1E missiles against aircraft and helicopters. A Peruvian Air Force Mi-25 attack helicopter was shot down on February 7, 1995 around Base del Sur, killing the 3 crewmen, while an Ecuadorian Air Force A-37 Dragonfly was hit but managed to land on February the 11th. Hits on additional Ecuadorian aircraft were claimed but could not be confirmed. Bosnia. During Operation Deliberate Force, on August 30, 1995, a French Mirage 2000E was shot down over Pale by an Igla fired by air defense units of the Army of Republica SRPSKA. The pilots, Lt. José Manuel Suviñet and Captain Frederick Schiffert, were captured and freed in December 1995. Chechnya. The 2002 Kankala Mi-26 crash occurred on August 19, 2002 when a team of Chechen separatists brought down a Russian Mi-26 helicopter in a minefield with an Igla. This resulted in the death of 127 Russian soldiers in the greatest loss of life in the history of helicopter aviation. It was also the most deadly aviation disaster ever suffered by the Russian armed forces, as well as the worst loss of life in a single day since 1999. Egypt. On January 25, 2013, the militant group Ansar Bait al-Maqdis shot down an Egyptian Mi-17 over the northern Sinai Peninsula using a suspected Igla-1E or YGLA. How the group came to obtain the weapon is currently unknown. Libya. On the 23rd of March 2015, a Libya-operated MiG-23 UB was shot down with an Igla-S while bombing Al-Watan Air Base, controlled by forces from the internationally recognized Council of Deputies. Both pilots were killed. Syria. Video has surfaced showing rebels using an Igla-1E on a Syrian government helicopter. Such weapons were believed to have been looted from a Syrian army base in Aleppo in February 2013. In 2014, a member of the rebel group Harakat Hazm was filmed aiming an Igla-1E into the air on the same day that the group was filmed operating BGM-71 TOW missiles. Whether these weapons were raided from regime stockpiles or supplied via overseas is unknown. Ukraine. On June 14, 2014, rebel forces near Luhansk International Airport in eastern Ukraine shot down an Il-76 of the Ukrainian Air Force, probably using an Igla-MANPADS, killing all 49 Ukrainian service personnel on board. Nagorno-Karabakh. On 12 November 2014, Azerbaijani forces shot down an Armenian Army Mi-24 of the formation of two which were flying near the Azerbaijani border. All three on board died when the helicopter crashed while flying at low altitude and was hit by an Igla-S MANPADS fired by Azerbaijani soldiers. Turkey. On May 13, 2016, PKK militants shot down a Turkish Army Bel AH-1W Super Cobra attack helicopter using 9K-38 Igla version of this missile system. The missile severed the tail section from the rest of the helicopter, causing it to fragment in midair and crash, killing the two pilots on board. The Turkish government first claimed that it fell due to technical failure before it became clear that it was shot down. The PKK later released video footage of the rocket being fired and striking the helicopter. Variants. Several variants of the Igla were developed for specific applications. Igla-1E export version. Igla-1M improved version of 9K-38 Igla. Entered service in Soviet military during the late 1980s. Igla-1DA version for paratroopers and special forces. Igla-1 Volt air-launched version mainly for combat helicopters. Igla-1NA version with heavier warhead at the cost of a slight reduction in range and speed. Igla-1A export version. Igla-S, the newest variant, which is a substantially improved variant with longer range, more sensitive seeker, improved resistance to latest countermeasures, and a heavier warhead. Manufacturer reports hit probability of 0.8 to 0.9. State tests were completed in December 2001 and the system entered service in 2002. series produced by the Dejtrev plant since December 1, 2004. Strelets Igla-S. The Strelets is designed for remote automated firing of the Igla and Igla-S surface-to-air missile by single-shot, ripple or in salvo. 3M47 Jika, a turret for ships that is equipped with Igla missiles. Kamar, another turret for ships that is equipped with Igla missiles. Comparison chart to other MANPADS. Use in plot against Air Force One. On August 12, 2003, as a result of a sting operation arranged as a result of cooperation between the American, British and Russian intelligence agencies, Hemant Lakhani, a British national, was intercepted attempting to bring what he had thought was an older generation Igla into the United States. He is said to have intended the missile to be used in an attack on Air Force One, the American presidential plane, or on a commercial U.S. airliner, and is understood to have planned to buy 50 more of these weapons. After the Federal Služba bezopasnosti detected the dealer in Russia, he was approached by U.S. undercover agents posing as terrorists wanting to shoot down a commercial plane. He was then provided with an inert Igla by undercover Russian agents and arrested in Newark, New Jersey. When making the delivery to the undercover U.S. agent, an Indian citizen residing in Malaysia, Moinuddin Ahmed Hamid, and an American, Yehuda Abraham, who allegedly provided money to buy the missile, were also arrested. Yehuda Abraham is president and CEO of Ambigem Corp. Lakhani was convicted by jury in April 2005, and was sentenced to 47 years in prison. Operators, Igla and Igla-1 SAMs have been exported from the former Soviet Union to over 30 countries, including Angola, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Botswana, Brazil, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cuba, East Germany, Egypt, Ecuador, Eritrea, Finland, Hungary, India, Iran, Iraq, the Republic of Macedonia, Malaysia, Mexico, Morocco, North Korea, Peru, Poland, Serbia, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, South Korea, Sri Lanka, Syria, Thailand, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, Vietnam and Zimbabwe. Several guerrilla and terrorist organizations are also known to have Igla-S. Alleged operatives of the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, a rebel organization fighting for a homeland for Tamils in the island of Sri Lanka, were arrested in August 2006 by undercover agents of the FBI posing as arms dealers, while trying to purchase the Igla. In 2003, the unit cost was approximately $60,000 minus $80,000. Large numbers have been sold to the government of Venezuela, raising United States concerns that they may end up in the hands of Colombian guerrillas. Igla-1E current operators. Former operators. Finland, known as ETO-86, a former operator. Soviet Union, passed on to successor states. Evaluation only operators. Poland, not military use, only bought license. Igla current operators. Former operators. Finland, known as ETO-86M, a former operator. Soviet Union, passed on to successor states. Igla-S current operators. Armenia, 200 missiles. Azerbaijan, 300 launches with 1,500 missiles. Brazil, Libya. Photo evidence of the truck-mounted twin version in service with the Libyan army emerged during the 2011 Libyan revolution. Starting from March 2011, 482 Igla-S missiles were imported from Russia in 2004. Some of them were unaccounted at the end of the war, and they could have ended up in Iranian inventory. Israeli officials say that Igla-S were looted from Libyan warehouses in 2011 and transported by Iranians through Sudan and turned over to militants in Gaza and Lebanon, Russia, Slovenia, Syria, Photo evidence of SA-24 MANPADS in the possession of Syrian rebels was first reported on November 13, 2012. As far as I number, this is the first SA-24 manpads ever photographed outside of state control, said one expert. Thailand, Venezuela, Vietnam. Other uses. The Igla is a recent Russian scramjet project conducted by SIAM.